I didn't know we were broke, man. I didn't know we were broke until I was about like 13. That's when the reveal happened. Because I volunteered at a neighborhood food drive, and one of the bags was for my family. Imagine my surprise. I showed up, I was like, who are we helping today? They're like, help yourself, Gina, grab a bag, get out of here. We had a good time growing up, though, man. We always had a lot of dogs in my house because my grandmother would always pick up stray dogs, which became my attitude towards men. That's right. I see some guy wandering the street. I'm like, are you lost, buddy? Huh? Are you lost? You want to come home with me? Huh? I have bacon at my house. We fed our dogs rice and beans just like us. The dogs would look at us like, damn, are we broke too? Like, what's going on? What's going on with this situation? One thing was great, we had to be creative. Like me and my siblings, when we would play games, we had to play broke people games. Yeah, I see some of y'all chuckling. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Broke people games are games that don't require toys or money. You just had to be creative. Right, like we had this one game we used to play called Adventure. It was just us walking around a tree. You had to hold on to the tree because if your foot touched the floor, you were out. That was the adventure part. Played another game called Paperball. You crumble up a paper, you throw it to somebody, you got to keep it in the air because if it hits the floor, you're out. The floor was an integral part of many broke people games. Which is why The Floor is Lava is a historically broke person game. Some of these games are passed down from broke generation to broke generation. The Floor is Lava is one of those games. If you played The Floor is Lava and you had money, you were appropriating broke culture, and we don't appreciate that. Go to a theme park, you got the money. Why you gotta take from us? We weren't broke forever. I feel like people always panic when I say that we were broke. We weren't broke forever. My parents are Latinos. They worked really hard to get us out of that situation. You know, we went from broke to, okay, we doing all right, to, oh, we got some money now. Then back down to, okay, we doing all right. Because when broke people get money, they don't know what to spend it on. You spend it on your fantasies. We got a little bit of money, and my dad bought a boat. We lived in the South Bronx. Where shall we sail, Papa? Shall we follow the pissy smell to the Isle of Manhattan? Let us away to sail. I was on all of the apps, too. I was on Tinder, I was on Bumble, I was on J-Swipe. That's the Jewish one. I thought it was for if you wanted to date a Jewish guy. Apparently, it's also so they can date Jewish women. Whoops. I got duped by a lot of those dating apps because someone taught guys about high angles and filters, and now they're using our tricks against us, ladies. How's that gonna work, man? I don't look like how I'm supposed to look. You don't look like how you're supposed to look. How are we gonna find each other at this restaurant? Like, now we're just both sitting here thinking we got stood up. Looking for someone that don't exist. Those are weird times, man. A lot of girls would use filters that had like the animal filters from Snapchat on their like profiles that have like bunny rabbit ears or little kitty cat nose. I never did that because I didn't want no freak showing up. Right, some guy shows up like, hey, did you bring them ears though? I'm saying you look mad good as a rabbit. That's all the dating apps were, man, dodging different levels of freaks. I met a lot of guys that were into being dominated by women. Girl, no. Those men are impossible to get rid of. Because you can't tell them to get lost. They're into it. Can't be like, get the hell away from me. Yes, mistress. No! They're like the cockroaches of the dating world. You can't get rid of them. You just gotta make them useful. Be like, go get my dry cleaning, loser. He's like, yes, mistress, exactly. I remember there was one guy I was dating for a little bit. He wanted me to stay over, like spend the night, but he had a sleep apnea machine. And I was like, how are you gonna make a move? You cannot Darth Vader your way into my pants. I can't, like, I will be your baby father. No, you won't, boo-boo. No, you won't. Thank God I met my husband. I met my husband at a time in my singlehood where I was fully ready to be a hoe. Let me explain. Every woman reaches that point in her singlehood where she gives up on the pursuit for a relationship and she waves the white flag of wholeness. And she's like, I can't do this no more. And I was getting ready to work on a cruise ship. I met my husband on a cruise ship, so he's 90. I'm trying to get that paper. I was getting ready to do comedy on this cruise ship, and I got on that ship with hoe in my heart. And then the first day on that ship, I see the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life, and I had a crush on him instantly. And I was like, no! I was supposed to be a hoe. Now that I'm married, I'm constantly on guard, because I'm a jealous woman. I'm not gonna lie, that's the biggest issue he has to deal with. I'm jealous, man. You would think it would chill out when I got married. If you talk to my husband a second too long. I'm like, I don't know what your game is with this flirty line of questioning, but I don't like it. I'll be taking over from now on. And yes, he will have fries. I see you. Oh, I see you. People get intrusive with their questions. They'll be like, oh my gosh, how tall is your husband? Husband height. What cologne does he wear? Scent of my husband. His favorite movies are Wedding Video. You can leave now. They don't tell you this, but when you get married to somebody, you marry the entire bibliography of their issues. And you marry their family who gave them those issues. Like his mom never made him clean up his clothes as a kid. Guess whose problem that is now? My husband will leave little piles of clothing on the floor as if he was raptured out of our apartment. I'm like, were you never beaten as a child for this? We were clearly raised differently. I noticed one time he had an argument with his mom in front of me, and I was shocked because I didn't realize you could argue with your parents. Like, Latinos live in fear of our parents well into our early hundreds. Right, like, I'm trying to argue. I love life. He saw how shocked I was. He was like, don't worry, I would never talk to you like that. And I was like, I don't suggest it. You're a sound sleeper. Why do I know this? When you get married, you got to get used to somebody being in your space all the time. Like when I was single, I woke up alone a lot. Now every time I wake up, I'm like, ah! Oh, it's you. It's like 100 times in a row. And maybe you can get a hobby or something. It'll surprise me once in a while. Everybody wants to give you marriage advice when you get married. Some of it's helpful, most of it's trash. Because they don't know how your relationship works. But everybody wants to guide you. One of my girlfriends told me, if your husband acts up, just withhold sex. And I was like, what did I do? That punishment affects both of us. I don't like your methods. Don't go to sleep angry, that's another one. I go to sleep angry all the time. Because he falls asleep before me and I'm just like, oh, you got nothing to overthink right now? Okay. I had to get used to being responsible to another person too. That was hard, man. When my husband asked me if I paid my credit card bill, I gotta stop myself from being like, none of your business, bro. Because then I remember like, oh yeah, it is his business. And no. I remember there was one guy I was dating for a little bit. He wanted me to stay over, like spend the night, but he had a sleep apnea machine. And I was like, how are you gonna make a move? You cannot Darth Vader your way into my pants. I can't, like, I will be your baby father. No, you won't, boo-boo, no, you won't. Thank God I met my husband. I met my husband at a time in my singlehood where I was fully ready to be a hoe. Let me explain. Every woman reaches that point in her singlehood where she gives up on the pursuit for a relationship and she waves the white flag of wholeness. And she's like, I can't do this no more. And I was getting ready to work on a cruise ship. I met my husband on a cruise ship, so he's 90. I'm trying to get that paper. I was getting ready to do comedy on this cruise ship, and I got on that ship with hoe in my heart. And then the first day on that ship, I see the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life, and I had a crush on him instantly. And I was like, no! I was supposed to be a hoe.